What is the teaching backwards method and why it may be useful for you? Hi, everybody. I hope that you're well. My name is Arseni Martin, and today I would like to talk to you about a very useful teaching and learning strategy. Recently, I've been wearing lots of orange, so if I were a Labubu doll, I'd probably be this cool orange one. And for those of you who aren't sure how to pronounce that name, it is La Boo Boo. The stress is on the second syllable. Now, I've digressed a little bit. So, what exactly is the teaching backwards method and why it's useful for learners of languages? It's a method designed by Andy Griffith and Mark Burns. I'm looking there a little bit cheating at my notes just to make sure I've remembered the names correctly. So, in teaching backwards, the first thing that you do is you look at the endpoint, at the results which you wish to achieve, and then you look at your starting point wherever that is. The gap which you're going to bridge is essentially your pathway or your learning journey, which then gets mapped out, signposted with certain timeframes and measurable checkpoints. Now, this method is useful for learning languages, especially if you're working towards a specific goal, like an exam. And of course, it can also be transferred to other areas of life. For example, a project at work or a project in the house, like a gardening project, like in the video that I have posted recently. And when it comes to learning languages, especially when you are working towards a specific goal, like a GCSE French exam result where you want a grade 7 or 8 or 9, or you're working towards a different exam, like for adults, you have been, let's say, looking to get promoted as in an international company, you work for a company where there's a head office in Munich in Germany, and you want to get that promotion. One of the criteria is you need to have a level C1 in German. And your boss says, for example, that you are a good candidate for this promotion, but because you will be living in Germany, working in an office with German speakers, you need at least a C1 level by the CEFR framework. You already are told the level, the endpoint. You're already told, by the way, which exam, so you can start straight away assessing your starting point by this teaching backwards method. You know the result C1, not C2, C1. We know the exact level. You know the exam. You will go and then assess your level. It will tell you whether you are A1, the beginner, A2, B1, etc., etc. And let's say that you are already A2 because you've been learning German for a couple of months using different apps, YouTube videos, and maybe you've already had a few lessons with your online private tutor. And you can see, okay, this is where you are, this is where you want to be, this is the gap, and you can start mapping out straight away because you know which exam, therefore you know the success criteria. You can start mapping out your learning journey, your pathway. And if your boss says, for example, the exam, you need to sit the exam in, let's say, 9 months' time, you are already told the deadline, you've got the time, you've got the distance, and therefore you can start setting your speed, your essentially how fast you will be learning, and already therefore looking for specific measurable results at certain time frames. For example, you might want to assess your level of German in 3 months' time. Then you might go back to the drawing board and rethink, do I need extra lessons? Do I need to, I don't know, partner up with somebody who speaks German in my office, for example, so we can go for a coffee and let's say at lunch break and we can practice talking in German, etc., just as an example. However, the most important thing to bear in mind is this teaching backwards method is you need to make sure that you're looking from the end point where you want to be, then seeing your starting point, and then you're mapping this learning journey with specific measurable goals. and timelines, especially if you're working towards an exam. And this teaching method can also be flipped so that you use it instead of teaching somebody like we teach in the classroom for learning, because essentially when you're learning, you are in a way teaching yourself. So therefore, when you learn, you look at the result, the end result, the starting point, map out the learning journey. The most important thing, of course, is to make sure that you're keeping an eye on the final result, so that you don't steer off the path. Because we are so used to working a lot and working hard that I feel often we, by working hard and working a lot, we're so busy with doing that it's very easy to steer off the right track. Therefore, when you always work with the end goal in mind and check where you are in relation to this goal, how close you're moving in accordance with the set deadlines and timelines, you will therefore be able to stay on the right track, on the right course. I use this teaching method in my classroom and also for teaching myself Polish now, because I promised students at my school that I would be sitting GCSE Polish with them in a couple of years when they're doing their exam. So fingers crossed, and I will update you on my progress as well. But I also really want to know what languages you are learning and why, whether it's for your exams, which exams, A level, GCSE, whether you're doing it for your work or just for pleasure, just as a challenge. I would love to know and get to know you better, and also whether you already are using this method, and if not, do give it a try. I would love to hear your feedback, see how you're getting on, and just remember that whatever it is that you do, um, love what it is that you're doing, love the journey, love the process, because when you do so, whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's learning or anything else, the process then becomes much easier and results will follow. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you found it useful. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And I hope to see you again very, very soon. Thank you, and bye bye.